Hello and welcome back to the channel. Happy spring! We are officially in spring selling season for real estate, which is one of the busiest times in real estate here in the DFW area. So today I want to talk to you about what to expect in the spring market, how you can best prepare if you are looking to buy this spring, and I want to give you some tips and tricks on negotiating a great deal or competing against multiple offers. So let's get on into it. So spring is when we see a huge increase of inventory popping up on the market, which means for you have a lot more options. Sellers know that spring is prime curb appeal season. I mean, we got tulips popping up. We are hopefully going away from the dead yellow grass, and we've got green spaces throughout the yard. So that is definitely something that sellers strategically realize, that if their home has better curb appeal, they have a higher likelihood of selling the home. In addition, a lot of buyers want to secure their home before summer vacation. Nobody wants to be looking for a house while they're in Mexico chilling under the sun. So they want to lock in their home now, prepare for the upcoming school season in August. So spring is typically when they like to do that. But if you thought you were the only one looking this spring, you are wrong. You have a lot of increased inventory in the spring, but you also have a lot of competition. A lot of buyers are looking for the same reasons that you might be. And just some that come to mind is, people want to move before summer, like I mentioned. You also have the end of tax season, and you got some tax refunds coming in. So a lot of people are putting that money towards a down payment or towards some, fun little spring projects on their house. So that's another big driver of people wanting to get in the market and having some extra cash to put into real estate. And it goes without saying, the weather is warmer and open house season is in full swing. I mean, who doesn't like to look at houses on a sunny Saturday afternoon? When it comes to this prime selling season and you've got maybe multiple offers, multiple buyers looking at the same property that you like, I think at the end of the day, it's all about being prepared. And I tell all my buyers up front, we have to get a pre-approval. You have to know what your numbers look like, because otherwise we are just showing to show. We are seeing houses just to see houses, and you can do that at an open house. So really, when we run these numbers, you want to understand your monthly mortgage payments, but you also want to understand, what does the closing cost look like? What does the down payment look like? If we were going to offer the sellers, an offer, would we be able to negotiate maybe a 2-1 buy down because I need to get my monthly payment down? Or maybe you want to negotiate some seller concessions because the monthly payment looks good, but man, those closing costs are really, really high. So you really need to know your numbers, so we know also how to negotiate. So that's really helpful and super, super important to be prepared, get in touch with the lender, run your numbers, and know what price range you're looking at. And speaking about a competitive market, one of the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make is they are not ready. They are not pre-approved. They don't know their numbers. They really don't know what they're looking for. And when you've got multiple buyers that are interested in the same house that you are, if you don't know any of that, how can we quickly drop an offer and win the house? We simply can't. So I think the first thing is you've got to talk to a lender, you've got to get pre-approved, and you need to know your numbers. You need to know what $500,000 looks like in monthly mortgage payments. You need to know what $1 million looks like in monthly mortgage payments. So all of those numbers need to be run before you start looking at houses, because you could look at houses until you're blue in the face. But if they don't match exactly what you're comfortable paying on a month-to-month basis, you've wasted so much time. And you've maybe gotten your hopes up. I think another thing that's important to say is you gotta know your must-haves and your deal breakers. A big backyard is important for you because you've got 3 dogs and 2 kids. You need to prioritize having a big backyard. And if you've come across a house that doesn't have the big backyard, then maybe you push that to the bottom of the list and you see other homes before that. Because the thing is, you can always renovate a home. You can always update a home. You can change the paint colors, you can change the floors, but you cannot change the layout and you cannot make the yard any bigger. So if that's something that's super important to you, I would say prioritize that, because there's not any changing we can do after the fact. And lastly, I would say be ready to act fast. If you have your pre-approval, you know your numbers, you know exactly what you're looking for, the only thing else that I could tell you is you gotta act fast. If you go see a home, if we go see a home, we need to figure out very quickly if that's gonna be a fit for you, because the quicker we offer, quicker we talk to the sellers and say, hey, look, we're serious. This is our offer. You can close all the open houses for the rest of the weekend. We're the buyers that you wanna deal with. Then we have a better chance of securing your home and winning against the multiple offers. But I don't wanna scare you with these multiple offers. I'll tell you, I've seen a couple over the past few weeks. They're nothing crazy like the markets of 2020 2020 or 2021. I mean, yes, the homes may be going a little bit over asking, but I mean, we're talking very reasonable. We're not talking anything crazy like $50,000 over the asking price or anything. So competition is something that's very normal. It's fairly normal to have 2 or 3 parties interested in a home. Some of them are not going to have as competitive terms. Some of them are going to have to sell a house before they buy this house. So, price is only half the battle whenever you're creating a strong offer and maybe you're competing against other bidders. Price is only half the story. You got to look at the contingencies, the financing, how many days are these buyers going to take to close? How long do they need for an option period? I mean, there's so many terms that also play into a seller accepting your offer. And that's something that a really great agent will be able to help you with. And from what I've seen on the market, the homes that are perfect, they're beautifully updated. They're in a great location. They're zoned to the best schools. They've got the best curb appeal. I mean, all of that is going to most likely go to multiple offers from what I've seen. But if you've got a house that maybe, it's not priced very well, or maybe it needs some updating, some of those homes will stay on the market longer. And obviously they normally do not go to multiple offers. And you may be able to negotiate a really good price, maybe some closing costs from the seller. And I would say overall, when it comes to just general market conditions, I would say home prices have lowered just a little bit. They may go up a tad because we are in spring market and some sellers want to capitalize off of that. So they may overprice their home or they may price their home on the higher side. But the market will always adjust and will always tell you if you've priced your home too high. You can always count on that. But I would say in general, home prices have stabilized, and I would say rates have stabilized too. I was talking to my lender yesterday and he was saying that rates really haven't dropped so much, but they've, slowly come down a bit. And so what I've seen lately is the low 600s, mid 600s if you've got fairly good credit, which I would say is definitely a lot better than the 7s because that's where we were at the end of 2024. So run your numbers, talk to a lender. If you need one, reach out to me. I've got some really great ones that I'd love to send you to. And one thing just to think about is, you could find yourself in a multiple offer situation, or you could find yourself in a scenario where maybe the seller's overpriced the home and they don't have multiple offers and the home has been sitting for 30 or 40 days. And in that case scenario, I would tell you, let's negotiate. Let's negotiate on the price. Let's negotiate on closing costs. Let's negotiate the seller to pay a 2-1 buy down. I mean, there's so much movement and so much terms that you can play with. But before you do any of that, you really need to know your numbers because, I've seen 2 scenarios. I've seen buyers who feel like their monthly payment is just way too high. And in that scenario, we're going to the seller and saying, hey, we need a 2-1 buy down to help these buyers secure the financing, feel good about their monthly, and then we will buy your house and you can sell your house. And then I've seen another situation where buyers are like, yep, monthly payments pretty comfy for us, but the closing costs are just killer. We really want to reduce the closing cost. And then we go back to the seller and say, hey, we don't need a 2-1 buy down, but we would love for you to cover closing costs or maybe cover X amount of closing costs. So if you know your numbers, that allows us to figure out where we can negotiate for a really great offer. Overall, my thoughts on the spring market is spring is such an exciting time to buy. Things are moving quickly, so you've got to be prepared and you really need to have a good team by your side, meaning you've got to have a great realtor and you've got to have a good lender who can run numbers quickly as soon as you see a property you absolutely love. So I hope this video was helpful. If you are looking to buy this spring, I would love to help you if you've not found a realtor yet. And if you have any questions about the process or you have questions about the DFW market, I'm all ears. Send me an email, send me a text, give me a call. Would love to help you guys, and I'm sending you all the best of luck in this spring market. Let's go get an amazing deal. I'll see you next time.